I remember after talking to the surgeon who couldn't find anything wrong with me, just crying in his office. The day I got injured, I was out, went surfing that morning, decided that afternoon I was going to go play some ultimate frisbee, and in between that I was going to work on some backflips and corks. And then about 10-15 minutes into the ultimate game, that's when I had my crazy injury, or I tore all my ligaments. And I remember at that moment being really grateful, because I said, well, for the next 5 weeks I'm going to have to slow down, this is going to be an injury that is going to slow me down, and I'll have time to refocus my priorities. And then I can remember going to see my doctor after I wasn't improving in physical therapy, and after running through all the tests, finding out that, well, I was actually never going to be the same again. I wouldn't be able to walk. I wasn't going to ever be able to run or jump or do anything like that ever again.
I mean, mentally, I just accepted it because that's what happened. When he said that you would never be able to do any activities again, I thought that you being able to really even walk was going to be just impossible.
I found out that all I could do was truly do nothing, that who I was before was never who I was going to be again, and anyone who knows me knows how athletics and movement is so important to who I am as a person. Those are the kind of things that didn't make me a person but defined me. They are things that I valued and were very special to me. And so to know that all those relationships I had built and formed around just being able to function as a normal person, it was hard to hear. It was hard to think that there was any solution available to me other than what was being presented to me. It was hard to consider that I was never going to be able to carry my kids from the car to their bed when they fell asleep on long car rides. Just all those emotions, all those hopes culminated in this one experience where hearing the news that there was nothing I could do took every ounce of hope that I had. There's nothing worse to do to an individual than to take away their hope. When you take that away, when you take away any idea that things could get better, it kills you and it ruins any progress you can make. Part of the reason I can continue pursuing these things I'm doing again today is only because I have hope. I have hope that I can still progress. I have hope that I can still get better. And it's not a false hope. It's things that I've seen. I'm gaining in speed. I'm gaining in strength. I'm gaining in endurance. AMIT didn't just band-aid the issue. It reestablished the thing that I had lost because I was told that what I'm doing today, right now, is impossible. It's supposed to be impossible for me to walk. It's supposed to be impossible for me to run. It's supposed to be impossible for me to not be dependent on someone else. When you take that away from someone, there's only rock bottom. And Amit gave me all those things back. Yeah. I went to the expert. I went to the ankle guy. A friend was able to find this person and get me to receive treatment from them. So when the expert says there's nothing you can do, that's a pretty hopeless situation.
It really just gave me hope. You sent that video, and I literally sat down in the kitchen and I was just bawling my eyes out.
All right, here we go.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Whoa, sticks to dismount.
I am back.
All right.
I'm back. The weekend that I got back from Georgia, after seeing Dr. Marco and Dr. Gorman, I went to a Dodgers game with my girls. And I remember thinking that being at a ballpark with my girls or any kind of sporting event was not going to be an easy thing. And I remember my daughters just wanted to go down towards the field to see the players up closer, and we had to walk down this long flight of steps. And so that was supposed to be the real first test, right? Can I make it down these steps with my kids? So we walked down, and then we were watching them warm up for the game. We got to see the outfielders up close, and I remember Callie asking me to pick her up. I remember Briella wanting me to carry her too. And so I just did. I picked them up, and with each one of them in my arms, I walked up those steps back to our seat. And I remember that was the first moment that I realized I was back. I could be a dad again. I could be a husband. I could get food for my kids, snacks for my kids. That Amit was able to fix me, not only for myself, but so that I could continue doing good for others, so I could continue to be a servant, so I could continue to pursue the things that I love, but also pursue the things that my family loves. And man, I will never forget how good that moment felt.
Here, put the yellow in your pocket. First put milk on it, and then put it in your pocket. And there's the owl. Take a picture of it. Wow.
Yeah, let's go take this to mommy.
Whoa, whoa, camera. And go take a picture.
Charles. Here.
Hello.
Plus this one's way better. Hey, Bubba. What's wrong?
Good.
One of the things that Amit did for me that was incredible and hugely important is something that honestly I took for granted. Chelsea couldn't ask me to run to the store, and if she did, she always felt guilty, because for me, running to the store was incredibly difficult. It not only entailed having to drive, but then get out of the car, hop around to the back seat, to be able to pull out my walker or hop around all the way to the trunk, and I would unfold my walker, and I would just basically scooter around throughout the whole store, getting the things that I needed, putting them in the basket. It was not an easy thing, and it was something that she felt extremely guilty in asking me for. So one of the biggest things that I was grateful for is the ability to do these every little day things, like drive to the store, ride my bike to work, go and pick up something real quick for my wife, or now several things, make grocery store runs, take the kids with me, because I don't just have to manage myself, I can manage our whole family. So I would say I've come out through the fire refined. I'm not the same person I was, and that's to the benefit of others and to the benefit of my family. Having gone through this whole thing has made me a stronger, more resilient, more focused individual. It's made me someone who is more appreciative and grateful of the life that I've been given, of the talents I've been given. It's really honed in on my need to rely on the Lord and to glorify God in my life. And so for me, the biggest thing that I gained was appreciation and gratitude. Things that I didn't realize were truly missing from my life until having gone through this turmoil. And one of my favorite things that I've been able to learn is humility. I think in a lot of ways I understood that humility was important, but it was almost like I had a false humility. I knew that I needed to be humble, but I had never really been given any reason to be humble. If I could go back to that day and change that day, I don't really think that I would, because I prefer 100 times who I am now than who I was then, even though backflips are a little bit harder. So one of the best compliments that I get nowadays is when no one says anything about my walking. It's amazing because people that saw me before getting AMIT treatment can't believe that I look so normal. Even just today, I was out on a 30-mile bike ride with one of my friends, and he said that this past Sunday, when I was walking down the steps, he just commented to his wife, he can't believe how far I've come, that if he just saw me out on the streets, he wouldn't think twice about who I am or what I'm doing. And those are the kind of things that are really special to me, that I can be normal, I can be just an everyday guy, and yet the exciting part of all of this is that AMIT lets me be more than just a normal guy. AMIT has given me the opportunity to start running and cycling and swimming again. I'm in the process of training for my upcoming triathlons, and those are the kind of things that AMIT can do. It brings you back to sport. It brings you back to that competitive level. You don't have to stop doing the things that you love, and you can find new passions that really drive you and move you to be the best version of yourself. I would absolutely recommend to every single person out there who has suffered some kind of injury or just doesn't feel right, feels like something's off, to go and find someone who can do AMIT for you. There aren't a ton of people out there, but the people that do it are really passionate about giving people back the things that they lost, and seek what's out there, to never be satisfied with what X, Y, or Z tells you just because they're a so-called expert. There are so many things that the human body is capable of doing because God has created us in that way. God has formed us and made us to be people that can heal, to be people that can be resilient. And it's amazing to find a practice that tries to do that tries to work with the human body to make it function again. We take this approach to so many things in life. We take it to cars, we take it to computers, that maintenance is so important, and really AMIT is just that. It's another part of the body that allows you to maintain the things that you already have so that you can continue progressing and striving for more.
Hey, can you just, hey, watch out.
Kiss.
Wow.